Hey everybody, welcome back to another Wing Wednesdays. This is Tucker from KiteBoarding.com, and today I'm going to walk you through the Fanatic Sky Air Premium Edition. I have the 5.8 here. This board looks like a lot of fun. 5.8, 28 1/4, 120 liters volume. So in terms of length, you know, a little bit bigger than I normally ride. Definitely more volume than I normally ride, but I like these dimensions for an inflatable board. You know, it's a size you could take anywhere, ride in any condition. And we're gonna get out there and test it out. Just taking it out of the bag, pumping it up. The bag's really nice. Obviously pumped up really easy. This thing goes to crazy high, 20 PSI. This thing is stiff. I mean, I can't even flex it. It is so stiff. And in terms of durability, I'm bouncing on the cement here. Probably running over with my truck and not have any issues. This thing is awesome. It came with 3 straps. I've just got mounted with the front 2 because I really don't know where I want my back foot yet. I tend to not really like a back foot strap because I move my back foot pretty actively while I'm riding. But we're gonna get out there and test this thing and come back to you, let you know what I think, and get you out there on the water on a new board. Just got off the water here on the new Fanatic Sky Air, and I've gotta say, this is a really good inflatable wingboard. 2 thumbs up for sure. Is it as good as my favorite hardboards? No. But you really can't expect that from an inflatable. These things have different purposes, and honestly, I was really impressed. I've got the board kind of sitting here. Quick, I'll talk about some of the features on this board, what I like about it, what I didn't find as useful or as good, give you guys an idea of why you might want this board and how it might perform. So first, we've got it setting on its belly here. You can see the rocker line on the board. If you look at the back here, really flat, get under the front foot, and then it starts to turn up. It's got a really nice kick in the nose, and for an inflatable, that's really good. It's a massive board. It doesn't have those refined curves and rails like you get in a hardboard. So having a little extra nose flip really helps on touchdowns when you're coming down, when you're taking off in chop, so that you don't bury that big, thick, draggy nose, because it really slows you down when you do that. So the rocker line is awesome, well thought out. We've got a carry handle here on top. We've got one here on the bottom in the box. Since we're looking at the bottom right now, I'll talk to you about the bottom. It does have almost a slight single concave here. I'm not sure if they're putting in there on purpose or if it's just how the board inflates and that's kind of the shape it takes, but it does get some good planability on the bottom there. Coming into this back track area, I want to show you guys this. This is probably the most special part about this board in terms of inflatables. It's got kind of a carbon fiber top plate, plastic underneath it looks like, and it's got track systems, so it's good with almost any foil. You can move it forward, back, adjust, of course, and then that carbon plate kind of comes forward and tapers into a nice hydrodynamic design here, so you don't have a flat front slowing you down with that drag. Doesn't matter a lot, I'm not sure, but it does make it a little bit more packable, a little lighter weight to not have this big fat plate all the way up here, and having it extend forward like that almost under your front foot really gives you some good rigidity and control over the foil's pitch, but also in the roll. So it's just a really well designed plate. Really good job to you guys there at Fanatic. Definitely one of the better, stiffer inflatables that I've ridden personally, and being that it's really designed for its wing foiling, it tends to have a little better performance than those designed for SUP. Looking at the tail here, there's a kind of a block of foam rubber, or I don't even know what you call this stuff, almost plasticky stuff back here. It's a little bit pliable, but it's a hard right edge. And the idea there is to let the flow come off the back of the board cleanly. If you have these round rails in the back, the water tends to hug the back of the board and kind of come up over it like a spoon before coming off. that adds drag, it slows you down, and it makes it harder to lift off on the foil. So this little piece here is really important. It makes it feel a lot more like a hardboard when you're taking off the water, getting on foil, and just building speed in general. That little piece is really nice to do that. So we'll talk about the top now. You've got a 3/4 length deck pad, kicktail, strap mounts in 3 positions here. You're pretty limited, you're completely limited to where you want to put them. The 3 straps are included, and there are only 3 positions. So you got to go 1 strap, 2 straps in those exact positions, or 3 straps with 1 in the back. I chose for 2 up front, 1 in the back, because I didn't really know where I wanted my foil yet, what my stance would be like. And just looking at the board, I knew that that stance width was not really what jives with how I like to ride on the type of foils I'm riding. So I just left the back one off. That way I can move my back foot around freely, put it where I want it, and yeah, get it going that way. What I did find as I was riding is, on the foil I was riding is a F1 Phantom 1480. It's more of a back foot over the mast sort of a foil. I found these front straps were a little too far forward for where I had my foil in the box, which was almost all the way forward in the foil box, so not really a lot of place to go there. I almost wish they had more track length there where you can either move the foil forward, or ideally more strap positions so you can just move your straps backward a little bit. So it's not going to be perfect. You know, it's only got 1 set of strap positions, so it's not going to be perfect for every rider. It's not going to be perfect for every foil. But given the track, you do have some adjustability. Obviously, you can, use straps or no straps, or however you want to ride it. On a board like this, I typically wouldn't ride it with straps, but I wanted to test it for you guys, so I did, and ended up not using them all that much because they're 5 to 6 inches in front of where I really wanted to put my feet. So I didn't really need to use them much. But when I did jump on them with a wider stance. They worked great. They stayed in place. It's comfortable, so good for that. I think with their strap setup, obviously it's set up for Fanatic foils, which tend to ride a little bit more back foot over the wing rather than the mast, or even over the front edge of the wing, so your stance is further forward than a lot of other brands. Another brand that's kind of like that is Moses, with a lot of their bigger foils. So you might check that out as a good option for this, or just ride it strapless, or all the way push forward in the box with other foils. Should help get you more in the ballpark strap position wise. But of course you can ride it without straps too, and I think most people will, unless maybe they're in super light winds and just trying to get that thing up and going. So yeah, awesome board. Probably my favorite inflatable I've ridden so far for wing foiling. That'd be a hard one to choose between the Fanatic and our F1 Rocket Air. The Rocket Air is lighter, doesn't have straps. It is more packable. The F1 or the Fanatic here, it packs down into a bag, but it's a pretty big bag. It's bigger than a normal carry-on luggage would be. But there is some extra space in there if you want to put a wing or maybe even a foil in with the board in the bag. Like the F1s have room for that as well. They just pack into a little smaller bag. So depends what your priorities are, I guess. If you really want some straps, obviously the Fanatic is about the only choice out there. If you don't mind sacrificing your straps for a little lighter weight and smaller packability, then the F1 can still be a great option for you as well. That's kind of my tried and true for inflatables. Now, I guess a lot of you guys are going to ask, why would I even want an inflatable? Why not a hardboard? Well, hardboards are going to have a more high performance appeal. I'd say they're more efficient in light winds, maybe even easier to learn on than an inflatable, just because they plane out a little easier. They're a little bit more responsive, so you can tell what's going on between your feet and the foil more. For inflatables, I'd say these are really geared towards people that are traveling, number one. If you're going to travel a lot, you don't want to risk bringing your board on an airline, paying exorbitant fees just to have them ding your equipment and show up with nothing you can ride. Inflatables are perfect for that. They pack down small enough where you can easily check them on an airline. They're virtually indestructible Don't try to prove me wrong with TNT or something out there, but we've run these things over with a truck before. You can bounce them on the cement. You can see them. I'd never ever do that with a hardboard, and this thing isn't even phased. It's just indestructible. So if you're, you know, not a person that likes to take care of your gear, just chuck it literally in the back of your pickup truck. This is a great option. If you have a cabin, you know, where you have multiple people using a board, you know, you don't want to worry about constant dings, people carrying them down the stairs and stuff like that. These are an awesome option. Or we've also sold a lot of inflatables to people living in apartments where they don't have a lot of room to haul stuff up and down the stairs. They might not own a car. You know, putting a full-size hardboard in a taxi, you know, it's not going to happen. So these are an awesome option for those people, you know, that don't have the luxury of all the storage space or a big vehicle to put their gear in. So the inflatables are awesome for that. And then maybe lastly, people that are backpacking or trekking long distances to where they're going to ride. You know, if you're going to hike a mile and ride in an inland lake in the mountains, you know, inflatable is probably your go-to. They're lighter than hardboards. Obviously, they're more durable, but just the cumbersome nature of a full board is pretty hard to carry, whereas these, you could easily pack one of these and a wing and a pump into one of the backpacks and just schlep it, you know, for miles without problem. So that would be an awesome use for these as well. If you guys have any ideas, maybe how else you might use an inflatable, or have any questions, put those in the comments section below. This has been Tucker from KiteBoarding, and we'll see you next time.